Trump has just announced a mandatory registration nationwide for undocumented immigrants, and it puts them in a tough spot. If you don't sign up, you could face criminal charges or fines or even jail time. On the other hand, if you do sign up, you would definitely make it easier for the government to locate you and deport you. So if you're an undocumented immigrant in the USA today, you face a difficult choice. But once you understand why the Trump administration is pushing for this, one choice may be easier to make. Okay, so why has Trump suddenly announced this registration, and what does it mean? The registry relates to an executive order Trump signed on January 20th called Protecting the American People from Foreign Invasion. It applies to anyone 14 years of age or older who have been in the U.S. for more than 30 days and were never fingerprinted or registered with DHS, ICE, or CBP. If you fit into this category, then according to this, you must register with the U.S. government within 30 days, provide fingerprints and a home address, and carry registration papers with you at all times if you are 18 or older. The plan is simple: force people to register, track them, and deport as many as possible. And the Trump administration is not beating around the bush with this. They just came out and said that they hope that the registry will get large groups of people to self-deport. The Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem tried to make it seem constructive when she said, speaking to undocumented immigrants, that if you leave now, you may have the opportunity to return, and we must know who is in our country for safety and security. But let's be honest, this is not just about tracking people or about safety. It's about scaring immigrants into leaving on their own. DHS has not yet created this registry form, but when it does, undocumented immigrants will need to submit it online, provide a home address, and appear at a USCIS office for fingerprinting. And once you've completed those steps, DHS will provide evidence of the registration in the form of a card or papers. And when you receive it, if you are 18 or older, you must carry it with you at all times. To get the process started, DHS is urging immigrants to create a USCIS online account now to prepare. Now, as I said earlier, this isn't just about knowing who's here in the country. It's about making it easier for ICE to track and locate persons it desires removal of. So you may want to consider seriously the repercussions of registering. Next, who has to register? You are now required to register with USCIS if you are 14 years of age or older, undocumented, and have been in the United States for more than 30 days. Also, undocumented parents must register their children under 14 years of age, and then those children must re-register within a month of turning 14 and provide their fingerprints. In addition, you have to register even if you entered the U.S. without inspection, or crossed the border illegally, or were never issued an immigration record. Note that undocumented immigrants who have already had their fingerprints taken by USCIS, DHS, ICE, or CBP are already considered to be registered. You have likely already been fingerprinted by these agencies if you are a lawful permanent resident, have been paroled into the United States even if that has expired, have been issued an immigrant visa or a non-immigrant visa in the past even if it has been expired, have been placed in removal proceedings by DHS, have been given work authorization of any kind, even if it's expired, have applied for immigration applications, including adjustment of status applications, even if they were denied, or if you have a border crossing card, even if it's expired. If any of these apply to you, then you are not required to register because the government already has your fingerprints and already knows that you're here. So what happens if you don't register when you are supposed to? Under Trump's order, failing to register could carry with it both a civil and a criminal penalty, and it could mean that it's a federal crime. You could be fined up to $5,000 or jailed up to 6 months. And even forgetting to carry your registration papers could carry with it a fine of $100. It's like driving without a license, but even worse because it could cause you to get deported. So when will all of this happen? Well, Trump signed the executive order for this registry back on January 20th, 2025. On February 24th, DHS launched a registry webpage confirming that registry will be coming soon. And this was the first official announcement about this policy. Then on February 25th, USCIS told undocumented immigrants that they should create an online account in order to prepare for the coming registry. And meanwhile, DHS is already running ads overseas and in the US, warning people to self-deport if they do not want to face serious consequences. Once the form is released, persons will likely need to fill it out and submit it within a short window of time in order to face scrutiny or penalties. At that point, ICE and other agencies will have the power to ask for proof of registration, and U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents could be deputized as criminal law enforcement agents, meaning that they could arrest persons on both immigration and criminal charges. And in certain states like Texas, Florida, or Arizona, local police may already have more power to arrest persons they think are undocumented. So this could lead to a future where you may be asked for your papers wherever you are. DHS is expected to release more rules on this as they actually create their registry. However, here's the good news. This registry may be shut down before it even gathers steam. The courts are likely to get involved, just like they have gotten involved in other Trump administration executive orders, and the program could be scrapped and the timeline could totally change. And let's put it this way, putting together a national registry of undocumented immigrants is not going to be easy. There are more than 11 million undocumented persons living in the US today. Just think of the burden that USCIS and DHS will now face in even processing all these applications, scheduling fingerprinting appointments, and then issuing a paper card. Let's face it, they barely are able to get out work authorizations on other applications in a timely manner. I'm not too sure what makes them think that they'll be able to get this done. So what should you do? Should you register now, or should you stay off the government's radar? One thing to keep in mind is that if you already have an application in process, an application that's pending, or an application that has been filed in the past, you are already considered registered. So there would be no need for you to register a second time. For this, especially for those who have denied applications, I would say that registering on this would actually put you more on the radar than you might like. And if you are already in removal proceedings or already have a removal order, you're also considered to be registered. So again, you do need to weigh the pros and cons of registering when you are not required to. But legally, if you're undocumented, age 14 or older, and in the US for more than 30 days, if this does pass, you will be required to register. But of course, my personal view, just because something might become the law does not make it right. And as mentioned, there's a very good chance that this is going to get challenged in court. Either way, you may face a very difficult decision in the near future. So what are some things that you can do to protect yourself and your family if this registry goes into effect? First and foremost, please remember that even if you do register and even if you do get placed in deportation proceedings, deportation is not a process that happens overnight and can take several months to years in order for the government to complete. So first thing I would say is to double check to see whether or not you are eligible for any other application or any other form of relief, either before you get placed in proceedings or after you get placed in proceedings. Next, prepare a family emergency preparedness plan. Decide who your children will stay with, give someone trustworthy power of attorney over certain financial matters, and make sure that everybody has your emergency contact and that you have everybody's emergency contacts. These plans can be detailed, so I will include a link in the description below. Next, download the Notifica app. This app allows you to instantly alert your loved ones in case you are picked up and detained, and it sends them your last known location. It can also automatically activate your family preparedness plan, sending pre-written instructions to your kids' schools, your employer, your lawyer, and anyone else that you need to notify. That's a lot easier than trying to reach everyone if you get detained by ICE. Third, know your rights. I made an entire video explaining what your rights are in case you ever get stopped by ICE. I'll include a link to that in the description below. Fourth, talk to a trusted immigration lawyer to understand what your options are and get the right legal advice for your situation. A lot of undocumented immigrants actually qualify for legal protection, but they just don't know it. So now is the time to get in touch with an experienced attorney. My name is Moumita Rahman, and during my 15 years of practice as an immigration lawyer, I have guided many immigrants through tough times. My team and I were here during the first Trump administration, so we know what sort of tricks to look out for and how to get your immigration benefits approved. If you're unsure of what to do next or would like to explore your options, please give our office a call at 212-248-7907. 24/7. We are based in New York, but we serve clients all over the United States. And if you want to find out how you may be able to get legal status, watch my other video, The Best Way to Get a Green Card Without Marriage. In it, I explain the #1 way undocumented immigrants may qualify for legal status in a case that does not require marriage. I'll include a link to that video here, so click next and I'll see you there.